there, you are watching Bulletin 679. I am Sherril Azzlynda Binti Radzali.
And my name is Nur Syazwani Md Zanuri.
News making the headline is on the issue of whistleblowing. Whistleblowing can be best defined as an act of free speech, an anti-corruption tool, and an internal management dispute mechanism. Whistleblowing is when an employee, contractor, or supplier goes outside the normal management channels to report suspected wrongdoing at work. This can be done via internal auditor processes set up by the organization or to an external body such as a regulator. In Malaysia, whistleblowers are protected with this act, which promotes disclosure of information about any corruption or other misconduct. The Act will provide protection to whistleblowers from any act prejudicial effect of disclosure has been made. A whistleblower shall, upon receipt of the disclosure of improper conduct by any enforcement agency under Section 6, be conferred with whistleblower protection under this Act as follows. A. Protection of confidential information. B. Immunity from civil and criminal action. And C. Protection against detrimental action. By implementing the whistleblowing policy, this will expose malpractices that occur in an organization. Whistleblowers play an important role in business and government. When an organization or even a federal agency step over the ethical or legal line, whistleblowers are the ones who make such acts public so that violators can be held to account. The other advantage of implementation of whistleblower policy provides confidentiality. Whistleblowing support provides a confidential service that allows employees to draw attention to any issues that they feel are inappropriate for the workplace. However, there is a downside to whistleblowing. It can reduce an individual's employment prospects. Whistleblowing brings in with a lot of attention to both the whistleblower and the organization. Then there are the legal testimonies, media interviews, and investigations that can harm the employability of the whistleblower. Industry players and managers may consider whistleblowers as indiscreet and disloyal for exposing company secrets. Also, all the media attention may actually harm the whistleblower because he or she can be blacklisted in their profession. Lastly, the disadvantage of whistleblowing may impose personal complications to the whistleblower. Although whistleblowers may understand that their revelations serve the greater good, they also often endure personal problems for their actions. Legal complications from criminal investigations and civil lawsuits against the company might require them to hire attorneys to defend themselves. They may also receive threats of retaliation from former supervisors and co-workers. All of this added stress can cause severe health problems and fractures in their relationships.
Now, let us call our reporters, Miss Hani, who is in front of Top Glove Company, with Miss Siti to report the issue of Top Glove.
Thank you, Miss Syazwani. Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. My name is Siti Nur Alawiyah binti Yazid, and I am currently in front of Top Glove Corporation. Next, I will proceed with the current issue that arises from the article. Did Yubaraj deserve the title whistleblower? Yubaraj stated that not only were the workers' accommodation areas overcrowded and poorly ventilated, but also the physical distancing was not enforced in the factory. He was concerned about the health of his fellow co-workers and himself. Therefore, Yubaraj deserved the title whistleblower because he exposed the wrongdoing of Top Glove Corporation as they failed to follow the standard operation procedure despite it being a requirement amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. What he did may be wrong for sharing the photos of the company. However, if we take a look from Yubaraj's side, in order for his fellow employees and himself to avoid from being affected by coronavirus, it is the right thing to do. Thus, he was left with no choice but to tell the truth that the company has violated the 1 meter social distancing in standard operation procedure. Top Glove's factories and dormitories become the biggest cluster that contributed to the spread of the virus. Top Glove claimed in the later, Yubaraj was fired due to him sharing the photographs without getting any prior approval from the management as an act of misconduct. However, only later Yubaraj was told that Top Glove employees were apparently not allowed to take or share any photographs of their workplace. Yubaraj could object to his dismissal or have a discussion with the company when they terminated him, as it was not fair to be dismissed from his work, and all he did was tell the truth about the company not following the standard operation procedure properly, even though they were required by the company to wear masks and gloves. Yubaraj can get protection from the Whistleblowers Protection Act 2010. Under the Protection Against Detrimental Action, the Act provides that no person shall take detrimental action against a whistleblower or any person related to or associated with the whistleblower. The protection against the detrimental action includes discrimination, discharge, demotion, suspension, disadvantage, termination, or adverse treatment in relation to a person's employment, career, profession, trade, or business, or the taking of disciplinary action or even the threat of such action. That's all from me. Next, I will pass to Miss Hani, who is inside the Top Glove factory right now.
Thank you, Miss Siti. Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. I am Hani Liyana Binti Abd Wahid and you are now with me exclusively inside the Top Glove factory. An issue arises regarding the action of Top Glove terminating Yubaraj car from working. It is an acceptable action of Top Glove? In my opinion, even though Yubaraj act might be a wrongful act, however, he is telling the truth and being concerned on his and his fellow workers' health after his complaint is being fully ignored by Malaysian organisation. Top Glove action is not really appropriate and it seems like they are making decision of terminating in rush without any consultation. Top Glove should do further investigation in the first place and ask him further, is there any problem? Just because he is foreigner doesn't mean his voice is not important. Top Glove have to consult with an expert in this issue before making decisions that related to their staff contract. The act of detrimental of employee by employer is really unnecessary under the Whistleblower Protection Act. An employee also need to voice out their concern and Top Glove should accept the voices and focus on doing proper standard operation procedure SOP in the factory by providing masks, 1 meter tape around the factory, provide more hand sanitizer and make schedule for their employee to take turns to work. If Top Glove have taken this issue seriously, they might not have to become the biggest cluster in Malaysia which have more than 5,000 cases
of COVID-19.
Months after the case, there are statements by Top Glove, if this incident happens today, the termination will not happen because we have engaged consultants and have guided Top Glove on what right things to do. It is unfair for Yubaraj since he is already being terminated. This shows that Top Glove is making action in rush without further thinking and discussion with experts. Instead of terminating him, Top Glove should just suspend him temporarily while solving the matters, especially during the pandemic where people are struggling to earn money. That's all from me. Thank you and back to the studio with Miss Sherril.
Thank you, Miss Siti and Hani, for the coverage at Top Glove. Next, we go to the next segment with Mr. Dzahrul and Mr. Syakir.
Okay, thank you to Miss Sherril and Miss Wani from the studio. In this segment, I will continue with the analysis on the UATM student willingness to become the whistleblower, which we received from 36 respondents. So as you can see from the chart, for the first question is whether you are willing to report regardless of the type or seriousness of the wrongdoing. The response that we received is 50% yes and 47% response are maybe, while the remaining response are no. The second question of the survey is whether you are willing to only report if there is financial reward. The majority of 61.1% response are no and 25% response are yes, while the remaining 13.9% response are maybe. Okay, for the third question is whether you are willing to go to any extent to bring justice to the employer. The response we received are 55.6% said yes and 41.7% are maybe, while the remaining response are no. Next question for the survey is, if the employee were to report the wrongdoing, will he or she be dismissed by the employer? Only two choices of response for this question, which are yes or no. So the response we receive are 52.8% respond to yes and the remaining 47.2% responses are no. The fifth question is, if the employee were to report the wrongdoing, will he or she be prepared to resign? Only two choices of the response for this question, which are yes or no. The response are 52.8% respond to yes, and the remaining 47.2% responses are no. Okay, that's all from me. Next, I will pass to Mr. Dzahrul to continue the analysis. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Syakir. So I will start with the next questionnaire, which is, okay, the next, based on the survey, the question is about whether a loyal employee will not report wrongdoing in any circumstances. Okay, the responses are 83.3% response false and 16.7% response true. And the next survey, the question is about whether most organizations have established proper internal complaint reporting procedure, and the response is 71.4% respond true and 28.6% respond false. Then the next survey question are about whether you are not willing to report the wrongdoing as it will lead to unfavorable consequence to yourself. There are three response on these questions, which is most of the respondents refer to maybe an answer, which is 69.4%. 19.4% respond for no, and 11.1% respond for yes. And then we'll move to the next questionnaire, whether you are not willing to report the wrongdoing as it may result in bad publicity to the firm. Okay, most of the respondents respond no, which is 50%, and the balance of 44.4% respond maybe, and 5.6% respond yes. Okay, the last questionnaire, whether the organization will be provide adequate protections against the whistleblower. Okay, 38.9% of the respondent respond neutral, and 33.0% respond strongly agree, and the balance 11.1% strongly disagree, and both agree and disagree have the same percentage, which is 8.3%. So thank you. So we're back to the studio to Miss Wani and Miss Sherril. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Syakir and Mr. Dzahrul, for the news. Hence, the internal auditor should play their roles by supporting the acts of whistleblowing by encouraging the organization to maintain a whistleblower mechanism. They also should make the mechanism created are regularly and frequently tested for confidentiality and security. Lastly, internal auditor should encourage the organizations that the recipient of the disclosure should be knowledgeable in the Protective Disclosure Acts. Hence, the acts of whistleblowing cannot be blamed by organizations to ensure the staffs are able to raise concern of wrongdoing acts.
That's all from Bulletin 679. Thank you for tuning in and stay safe, Malaysia.